Right, question 17. Rachel and Larry both ran in a marathon race. Rachel completed the race in 2 hours and 54 minutes, measured correct to the nearest minute, and then Larry then 3 hours and 7 minutes, measured correct to the nearest minute. What was the maximum possible difference between their race times? Now, you might think I just got to look at the gap here in terms of minutes, but remember, this says you're measured to the nearest minute. Okay, so there's some error here in the measuring. All right. Now what I would do is, I think it's best to perhaps change this into minutes in total. So of course 2 hours is 120 minutes, okay? So Rachel will be, well there's 120 there plus the 54, so 174 minutes. Okay, 3 hours is 180 minutes, 60 times 3, plus then the 7, so it's 187. So Larry will be 187 minutes. Now, to get the maximum difference between them, we need to look at the error here, okay? It's 174 minutes measured to the nearest minute. So if we think about it, all right, we can use a sort of number line here, okay, to help us. But if you think about it, if we start with Rachel, okay, 174 is what has been given to the nearest minute. If we look talking about nearest minutes, then on our number line, the next one is 175. The one before that then is 173. Okay. Now, in terms of the lowest possible value is going to be here, isn't it? Okay, so the least is going to be 173.5, and the greatest will be 174.5. In other words, Rachel's time is somewhere between these two boundaries here. That's the lowest. That's the highest. It's between here, in order for it to be rounded to 174. Okay. For Larry, do the same thing. Well, Larry's time that was rounded to 187. So the next minute will be 188. The one before it will be 186. So the greatest hers could have been was 187.5, and the least it could have been is 186.5. Okay, now when you look at the maximum possible difference between their times, obviously difference means that we're taking away, okay, the gap between their times, okay. The obvious one you'd look at, you think, well, it's 13 minutes, okay, 174, 187, 13 minutes, but that might not be the case, okay, because Rachel's time could have been that one there, and Larry's could have been this one here, which actually widens the gap. And we want to look at the greatest possible gap. So to get the greatest gap, okay, you will take the greatest of a Larry, so a Larry's greatest, and you take away the lowest of Rachel's. So that will be 187.5, take away 173.5. When you work that out, you get 14 minutes. Okay, so that's the greatest gap between them. Now, question part B says the length of a side of a square piece of land is measured correct to the nearest metre. The largest possible area for this land is calculated to be 756.25. What's the least possible area? Now notice they don't actually tell you what the length of this square is. They just tell you that the greatest area is 756.25 meters squared. Okay, that's the area. So we need to establish what the length could possibly be. The good thing is, because it's a square, the length and width are going to be the same. So when it comes to working out the area, you would just do length times length, wouldn't you? Which of course is L squared. So we can say L squared is 756.25, which means then L, to get L, you sort of square root then, don't you? Take the square over and do the opposite, square root. So L will equal the square root of that, which is 27.5 meters. Okay, now that's the length. Because it's giving you the greatest area, okay, that is the greatest possible length. Alright? So on the number line, okay, we've actually been given the greatest possible length, which is 27.5. Remember now it's measured to the nearest meter, which means the lowest possible length will be here. So we can fill this in. Of course, if the greatest is 27.5, then that's got to be 27. So the least then has got to be 26.5. Okay? So the least measurement will be 26.5. So when you work out the area then of that square, you know you've got 26.5 here, 26.5 here. That will give you then, times them together, that will give you your answer. Okay, or you press the square button and you get your answer, 702.25 meters squared.